It's late at night. The world around you is quiet, and you're alone with your thoughts. In the stillness of this moment, you feel a gentle tug on your heart, a question that echoes softly in the darkness. Why not you? Think about that for a second. You've seen others achieve dreams that once seemed out of reach. You've heard stories of ordinary people transforming their lives, rising from nothing to accomplish something great. And in the silence of your own late-night reflection, you wonder, could that person be you? There's a warmth in that question, a hopeful spark. Why not be the one who breaks the pattern, who defies the odds, who steps out of the shadows and into a life you've imagined? This question isn't meant to accuse or pressure you. It's an invitation, one extended by a man named Jim Rohn, a philosopher of everyday wisdom who challenged millions to dream bigger. Jim Rohn used to stand on stages and ask these very words, pouring his heart out to audiences in a calm, assured voice. He would look into the crowd, as if speaking to each person individually, and pose the challenge directly. Why not you? It was Jim's way of igniting that spark within, urging each of us to see our own potential. He believed that anyone, truly, anyone, could rise above their circumstances through personal growth and perseverance. He often reminded people that he started as a poor farm boy in Idaho, yet by the age of 30 he became a millionaire. He lost it all a few years later, and then built it back again. If someone from such humble beginnings could find success, he would ask, why not you? Tonight, consider that question as if Jim Rohn himself were sitting with you, speaking softly, in this quiet hour. Why not you reaching for a better life? Why are not you taking the steps to change, to grow, to achieve those dreams quietly tucked away in your heart? You might feel a mix of excitement and fear at the thought. That's natural. Dreams can be daunting, especially the big ones. Perhaps you've been holding back, telling yourself that great things happen to other people, not people like you. But here, in this gentle moment, let's challenge that thought together. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to imagine the possibilities. Picture the life you truly want, the happiness, the success, the peace of mind. Maybe it's a life where you wake up with purpose and confidence. Maybe it's providing comfort and opportunity for your family, or making a difference in your community. Whatever your vision, however modest or grand, hold it in your mind now. Feel the emotion of it. And now hear that question resonate again. Why not you? Why shouldn't you be the one to turn that vision into reality? So often, we are our own biggest obstacle. We doubt our abilities, we fear failure, or we think we don't deserve more. It's easy to find reasons to stay where we are. But Jim Rohn taught that the only thing truly holding us back is often our own philosophy, our mindset about what is possible. He said, your personal philosophy is the greatest determining factor of how your life turns out. In other words, the way you think about yourself and your life shapes your destiny more than any outside force. If you believe that you're stuck or unworthy or destined to be average, those beliefs become your reality. But if you change that inner belief, if you adopt a philosophy of growth, hope, and responsibility, then your life will start to change too. Why not you? This gentle challenge, this audacious invitation to dream bigger, will guide our journey tonight. In the next few hours, or however long this narration accompanies you, we'll walk a path of personal growth step by step. We'll start with your mindset, the very foundation of change. Then we'll explore the power of your daily habits, those small actions that seem insignificant but carry the seeds of transformation. We'll talk about discipline, the quiet, steady force that bridges the gap between goals and achievements. We'll discuss wealth, not just as money in your pocket, but as a reflection of the value you create and the person you become. And finally, we'll touch on influence, the ripples your growth sends out into the world, touching the lives of others. Each part of this journey builds on the last, like chapters in a story, your story. And through it all, that question, Why not you will be our refrain, a reminder that you are just as capable, just as deserving of extraordinary growth as anyone else. Find a comfortable spot. Relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and let your mind open up. This is a calm and safe space for honest reflection. There's no rush here. We're going to take this slowly, step by step, with warmth and empathy. Tonight is about you and the journey you can begin. No, the journey you deserve to begin. By the end of this, you might feel that spark of possibility glowing a little brighter within you. You might even answer that once distant question with a confident whisper. Why not me? Why not now? Mindset. Planting the seed of change. Everything begins in the mind. Mindset is like the soil of a garden. Whatever you plant and nurture, there will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt and negativity, you will harvest frustration and fear. But if you plant seeds of hope, self-belief, and determination, you'll eventually reap confidence and success. Changing your life starts with changing how you think. It starts with daring to believe that you can change, that you can grow, that you deserve to pursue your dreams. This is the fertile ground where the challenge, why not you, takes root. When you entertain that question seriously, you begin to overturn the hardened soil of old assumptions and make room for new growth. Take a moment to examine the thoughts that usually occupy your mind. Are they thoughts that lift you up, or do they pull you down? Be honest with yourself here. Maybe, without even realizing it, you've been telling yourself things like, I'm not smart enough, or I'm too old to change, or people like me don't succeed. These thoughts are like weeds in the garden of your mind, choking the life out of your potential. They didn't come from nowhere. Often they've been learned over years through disappointments or negative voices around us. But here's a gentle reminder. You are allowed to pull out those weeds. You can challenge each limiting belief and ask, is that really true? Must it be true? Often you'll find the answer is no. Your mind, once cleared of these weeds, is ready to receive new, empowering beliefs. One empowering belief to plant right now is personal responsibility. It's the belief that you are in charge of your life, more than any outside circumstance. This doesn't mean everything that happens is your fault, or that life isn't sometimes unfair. It means that you decide not to hand over your power to those unfair circumstances. You decide that no matter what happens, you control your response and your attitude. Jim Rohn observed that it's easy to blame the economy, the weather, politics, or other people when life isn't going your way. But he also pointed out that blaming doesn't help you get to a new spot. Blame is a dead-end mindset. It leaves you stuck. Responsibility, on the other hand, is a liberating mindset. When you say, it's up to me, I can take charge of my own destiny, you reclaim the driver's seat of your life. It might feel heavy to accept that responsibility, but it's also empowering because it means you aren't at the mercy of fate or others' whims. You become the author of your story. Jim Rohn regularly spoke about the opportunities of developing your personal philosophy so you can design the life of your dreams. Another crucial mindset shift is moving from a scarcity mentality to a growth mentality. A scarcity mindset whispers that there's not enough success or happiness to go around, that if someone else wins, you lose. But a growth mindset knows the truth. There's plenty out there for everyone, and more importantly, you can create more where it doesn't yet exist. Success is not a zero-sum game. When you see someone else living the life you want, don't think, that should have been me. Instead, let their success light a path for you. Think, if they can do it, I can learn to do it too. Remember what Jim Rohn said to those who felt left behind by others' achievements. If we can change, you can change. If we can figure it out, you can figure it out. If we can turn it around, you can turn it around. In other words, use others' success as proof of what's possible, not as evidence of what you can't do. Let it inspire questions like, how did they do it? What can I learn from their journey? Rather than feelings of envy or defeat. Now, consider how you view challenges and problems in your life. Do difficulties make you shrink back and wish they'd disappear? It's natural to feel that way at times, but what if you could see challenges as opportunities instead of curses? Jim Rohn put it this way: "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom." This is the mindset of growth speaking. Life will always have challenges, financial struggles, health issues, tough decisions, you name it. Instead of hoping the world will stop throwing curveballs, you can work on becoming a stronger batter. Each challenge can teach you something if you approach it with the right mindset. When something goes wrong, you can ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me better or wiser?" This attitude turns setbacks into lessons and obstacles into stepping stones. History is full of examples of this mindset in action. Think of Thomas Edison, who famously said he didn't fail, but rather found 10,000 ways that did not work. Each setback in his experiments was a lesson that guided him closer to inventing the light bulb. Or Colonel Sanders, who at the age of 65 endured hundreds of rejections for his chicken recipe before finally finding success. He treated each no as one step nearer to a yes. These figures faced problems head-on and grew wiser and more determined through them, exemplifying the principle that challenges can fuel your growth. Why not you facing life's challenges with that kind of resilience and curiosity? Why not you cultivating a mindset that sees possibility where others see limitation? This is not about blind optimism or ignoring reality. It's about choosing a lens that empowers you. For example, you might not have control over an economic downturn or a company restructuring that affects your job, but you do have control over how you prepare for and respond to those events. With a mindset of preparedness and continuous learning, you might see the writing on the wall and proactively learn new skills. Or you might use a setback as a chance to reinvent your career. Many people have turned crises into turning points, simply by the way they thought about them. And what about dreaming? Your mindset directly affects how big you allow yourself to dream. Some of us have trained ourselves to expect little, to avoid disappointment. We keep our dreams small and safe. But inside, there's a part of you that yearns for more, something that excites you, maybe even scares you a bit because it's so grand. I invite you now to give yourself permission to dream without immediately thinking of all the reasons it won't work. Suspend that skepticism for a few minutes. Remember sitting as a child, imagining becoming an astronaut or an artist or a hero. Back then, you hadn't yet learned to put limits on your imagination. That childlike vision is still within you, waiting for you to say, it's okay to dream again. Dreaming big is the first step to achieving big. As one of Jim Rohn's famous insights goes, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Dreaming, in a way, is designing your own life plan. It gives you direction and purpose. Your mindset is the architect that draws up those plans. If your inner architect believes only in small, drab houses, you'll never build a mansion in your life. But if your architect dares to sketch a palace of possibilities, you have something exciting to work toward. So, how do you start shifting your mindset today, right now, in this quiet moment? Begin with the simple decision to become aware of your thoughts. When a negative or limiting thought pops up, I can't handle this, or I'm not meant for more, catch it. Notice it without judgment, and then question it. Replace it with a stronger thought. I will find a way through this, or why not me, why not now? You won't magically banish all negative thoughts, no one can do that. But you can get into the habit of overriding them with better ones. For you see, time. This practice is like training a muscle. Your mind will default more to optimism and self-belief because that's what you consistently reinforce. Feeding your mind positive material is another powerful way to shift your mindset. This could mean reading uplifting books, listening to motivational speakers like Jim Rohn himself, or simply surrounding yourself with people who encourage and inspire you. There's a well-known idea that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. While the exact number might be debated, the core truth stands. Your environment influences your mindset. If you spend time with people who complain, blame, and see only the worst in every situation, you'll find it harder to maintain a hopeful outlook. But if you connect with people who are striving, learning, and positive, their energy will rub off on you. Choose your influences wisely. They are the sunshine and water for the garden of your mind. Let's also talk about self-image, a key part of mindset. How do you see yourself? Deep down, do you believe you are worthy of success and happiness? Take a moment to feel that. It's okay if doubts arise here, that's common. But understand that how you see yourself can either fuel you or sabotage you. Building a healthy self-esteem is not about arrogance or pretending to be perfect. It's about recognizing that you are a person of value, with unique strengths and something to offer the world. Jim Rohn spoke about working harder on yourself than on your job. At its core, that means putting effort into developing you, your skills, your character, your knowledge. Because as you improve, so does everything around you. When you invest in yourself, even just by reading or listening to things like this, you are sending a message to your own mind. I'm worth it. I deserve to grow. That message can gradually rewrite any old scripts that said you weren't enough. A powerful affirmation you can tell yourself is, I am capable of more than I've shown so far. Say it silently now. I am capable of more. This isn't a boast. It's an acknowledgement that your potential is vast, even if your past hasn't yet reflected it fully. Your brain is remarkably capable of learning, adapting, and creating at any age. There are people who start new careers in their 60s, who learn to paint or play an instrument in their 70s, who go back to school in their 40s, who launch businesses in their teens. There is no single timeline for growth. Why not you too, at whatever stage of life you're in? Doing something unexpected and wonderful next? Don't trap yourself in a story that it's too late, or too early, or too hard. The examples of others prove that those are just stories, not laws of nature. Think of your mindset as the foundation of a house. If it's strong and solid, you can build anything on it. A fulfilling career, loving relationships, financial success, a legacy. If it's weak or full of cracks, like doubt and fear and self-sabotage, then no matter how fancy the house you try to build, it may crumble under pressure. So we must start here, strengthening this foundation one belief at a time. And the cornerstone of that foundation can be the belief that change is possible, and it starts with you. Jim Rohn said, for things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. When you grow, everything grows with you. Those words have power. They put the responsibility and the promise of change in your hands. Imagine that. As you improve yourself, even in small ways, your whole life can improve. Your relationships, your work, your health, your happiness. Your mindset sets this entire chain reaction into motion. It's the little voice that says, I can learn, I can adapt, I can try. Instead of the voice that says, I'll just fail, it's pointless. You are choosing which voice to amplify. As we close out this section on mindset, let that question ring once more in your mind. Why not you? Why not you becoming someone who thinks differently, who embraces a new philosophy of life? Why not you deciding that you will no longer be a victim of circumstances or past patterns, but rather a creator of your future? It all starts in your mind. Right here, right now, you can decide to plant that tiny seed of change. You might not see results overnight. No garden blooms in a day. But with patience and care, you will see the sprouts of a new perspective and a new confidence breaking through. And once that happens, you'll be ready for the next step in this journey, translating that mindset into daily action. With a hopeful, empowered mindset taking root, we turn now to the next layer of personal growth, your daily habits, the little things you do day in and day out that slowly, steadily shape the course of your life. Habits. Daily acts of growth. A hopeful mindset sets the stage, but mindset alone doesn't carry you to the finish line. Your habits do. The dreams you cultivate in your mind become real through the small actions you repeat day after day. It's been said that motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Think of habits as the invisible architecture of your daily life, the routines that quietly but powerfully shape who you become. Every morning you wake up and every evening you wind down. Your habits are there, guiding your steps almost on autopilot. The question is, are those habits moving you closer to your dreams or further away? Consider this. Every small action is like a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Do you want to be healthy and full of energy? Each time you choose a brisk morning walk over an extra hour in bed, you cast a vote for that healthier you. Do you aim to be knowledgeable and sharp? Each evening you spend reading a good book or learning something new, you're voting to become wiser. None of these single actions will transform your life overnight, but together, over time, they add up to monumental change. There's extraordinary power in consistency. A simple discipline, practiced every day, may seem insignificant on any given day, but the magic is in the accumulation. Jim Rohn expressed this so clearly. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Imagine the compounded impact of a few simple disciplines done daily. They build on each other, gain momentum, and eventually snowball into results that can astonish you. In fact, even tiny improvements compound tremendously over time. If you can get just 1% better each day at something, by the end of a year you will have improved several dozen times over. That's the astounding math of consistency. Small gains, repeated 365 times, turn into massive growth. Let's flip that coin for a moment and consider the opposite: neglect. Just as positive habits compound to create success, neglecting small things each day can slowly drift you toward a life you don't want. Skipping the gym once isn't going to ruin your health, but skipping it for months on end, letting that habit slip away, will surely take a toll. Spending beyond your means just this week might not bankrupt you, but habitual overspending can lead to serious financial pain. As one wise observation goes, failure often sneaks up on you one small day at a time, a few errors in judgment repeated daily, until one day you wake up far off course. The good news is that at any point, you can choose a different small action and alter your trajectory. You have that power today, right now, to adjust the sails of your habits. Habits are powerful precisely because they are small. They don't usually require grand effort in the moment, but their cumulative effect is enormous. This is a double-edged sword. Small good habits can lift you up, and small bad habits can weigh you down, all without making much noise as they do so. That's why awareness is key. Start by identifying one habit that isn't serving you and one habit that could serve you. Maybe you notice you're reaching for your phone and scrolling mindlessly whenever you're stressed, and it leaves you feeling more drained. What if you replaced just a few minutes of that with writing in a journal or taking a short walk? It could calm your mind instead of overstimulating it. Or perhaps you realize you often skip breakfast and then feel sluggish. A new habit of having a nourishing morning meal, or even a simple glass of water first thing, could improve your whole day. These aren't dramatic changes, but they don't need to be. Maybe you've experienced how a seemingly minor change can have a big impact. For instance, you might start taking a short walk every evening to clear your mind. At first, it's just 10 minutes of quiet, but soon you notice you're sleeping better and feeling less stressed. That one little habit sets off a chain reaction. Better sleep leads to better focus at work, which leads to more progress and confidence. All from a simple daily walk. No effort is wasted when it's aligned with your well-being and goals. Remember, small hinges can swing big doors. Tiny habits, positive or negative, can open up great possibilities or quietly close them off. One strategy for building better habits is to tie them to your existing routines. For example, if you decide you want to practice gratitude, a habit that can significantly boost your mood and perspective, You could make it a habit to think of 3 things you're grateful for each night when you brush your teeth. You're going to brush your teeth anyway, so linking a new habit to an old one helps it stick. Over time, that nightly gratitude practice can rewire your mindset to focus more on the positive aspects of your life, almost without you realizing it's happening. Or say you want to learn a new language. You could listen to language lessons in the car during your commute every day. That commute time, which used to be idle or filled with random radio chatter, now becomes a building block of your growth. Of course, creating a new habit often requires some discipline at first, and we'll delve more into discipline soon. In the early days, you might still be running on motivation and willpower. It might take a conscious push to lace up your shoes for that, jog, or to open a book instead of the TV. But here's the beautiful thing. Habits eventually carry themselves. Do anything consistently enough, and it starts to feel odd not to do it. Have you ever noticed how missing your usual routine can make you feel off balance? That's habit working to your advantage once it's formed. Your brain likes familiarity and efficiency, so it will gladly make beneficial behaviors part of your autopilot if you repeat them regularly in a stable context. Let's not ignore that breaking old habits is hard, sometimes very hard. It can feel uncomfortable to change what you're used to, but you don't actually break a habit in a single moment. Rather, you replace it or crowd it out with a different behavior. If you have a habit of eating snacks late at night and you know it's affecting your health, you might replace that habit with drinking a cup of herbal tea or reading until you feel ready for bed. The urge might still come, but each time you choose the new action over the old, the grip of the old habit loosens. Be patient and gentle with yourself in this process. It's okay to stumble. What's important is that you get back on track. Think progress, not perfection. If you miss a day on a new habit, just start again the next day. Don't let a slip turn into an excuse to quit. Use it as feedback and adjust if needed. Throughout this journey of building better habits, keep tying your actions back to your larger why, that big vision or dream that moves you. When a habit feels tedious, or you start questioning why you bother, remind yourself of the bigger picture. That early morning study routine might be what's going to open doors for the career you aspire to. Those evening workouts might be building the energy and longevity you need so you can enjoy life with your kids or grandkids for years to come. When habits connect to deeply held values or goals, they stop being chores and start being acts of faith in your own future. Why not you becoming someone known for their consistency and positive routines? Picture it. You steadily making progress, day by day, even if the steps seem small. Others might even start to notice and ask, how do you manage to do all this? And you might smile, thinking of the humble daily acts that got you there. You realize there's no secret magic, just a choice you made every single day. And if one day you skip or fail, you know it's not the end, because you've built the confidence that you can persevere. As you strengthen your habits, you will likely notice a change in the way you feel about yourself. There's a quiet pride in keeping promises you've made to yourself, in knowing that you're doing what you said you would do. Your self-confidence grows, not from big achievements that others applaud, but from the simple certainty that you are capable of acting in your own best interest consistently. This feeling is priceless. It's the groundwork of trust in yourself, which makes any goal feel more attainable. Now let's imagine where we stand so far. You've nurtured a mindset that believes in your potential and taken responsibility for your life, and you've begun to align your daily habits with your dreams. You can probably already sense that these habits form the backbone of progress. But to truly keep those habits going, especially when life gets challenging, you'll need one more ingredient: discipline. Discipline is what takes those good habits and locks them in place, even on the days when motivation fades. So let's explore that next. Discipline, the bridge between dreams and reality. If good habits are the path to your goals, discipline is the steady hand that keeps you on that path, especially when the journey gets tough. Discipline is often described as doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the inner strength that carries you through moments of temptation, fatigue, or distraction. Jim Rohn captured the essence of discipline's role in success with a simple metaphor. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Think about that. Your goals stand on one side of a wide gap, your achievements on the other, and the only way to span the distance is that bridge called discipline. Every step you take on that bridge might feel hard. Sometimes it's uphill, sometimes the wind is in your face, but each step brings you closer to making your dream a reality. Discipline often means choosing between what you want now and what you want most. In the moment, it can be so tempting to take the easy route, to procrastinate instead of working on your business plan, to sleep in instead of hitting the gym, to spend money on a whim instead of saving for that future you. These choices are immediate and comforting. Discipline is that gentle but firm voice inside that reminds you of the bigger picture. It tells you, yes, this may be uncomfortable now, but staying true to your plan will pay off later. It's like an investment. You put in a little pain or effort now for a much greater reward later. One of Jim Rohn's most powerful lessons on this topic is about pain. He said, "We must all suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret." Take a moment to let that sink in. Life will hand you challenges no matter what. Avoiding effort doesn't mean avoiding pain. It just means you'll face the pain of regret later, the aching knowledge of what you lost by not acting when you had the chance. The pain of discipline, by contrast, is the sting of effort, of sacrifice, of pushing through discomfort. It might mean sore muscles after a run, or frustration as you practice a new skill, or saying no to social media while you study. That pain of discipline is real, but it's temporary, and it weighs ounces compared to the tons of regret. The pain of regret is seeing years later what could have been if you had stayed the course. It's looking back and wishing you had been a little tougher on yourself, for yourself. Let's visualize the difference. Imagine one future version of you, years from now, who chose not to be disciplined. This version of you kept making the comfortable choices, indulging whenever, putting things off, quitting when it got hard. Picture them sitting quietly, reflecting on life. What do you see in their eyes? Perhaps a bit of sorrow, a list of, "if only I had," playing in their mind. Regret can be a dull, heavy weight that accumulates with each missed opportunity. Now imagine another future you, the one who embraced discipline, that you didn't live a life of rigid austerity or joylessness. Rather, you found the value in occasional sacrifice. You stayed on that treadmill a little longer when it mattered. You consistently put money away. You practiced that craft even on uninspired days. This future, you might have a sparkle in their eyes, a quiet pride. They know they gave their best, more often than not. They have fewer if-only moments because they turned many of those into, "I'm glad I did." Here's an important truth. Discipline is not about perfection, and it's not about punishing yourself. It's about commitment. It's about saying, "I will keep my own promises. I will show up for myself." And yes, sometimes you will falter. Discipline doesn't mean you never mess up. It means you get back on track when you do. Think of discipline as a habit of returning to your intentions again and again. If you planned to write every morning and you miss one, a disciplined person writes in the afternoon or the next day. They don't just throw up their hands and abandon the goal. In this way, discipline is closely tied to resilience. It's not rigid self-control that breaks at the first slip, but a flexible, persistent dedication that can bend and rebound. Cultivating discipline can start with very small acts. You don't become an iron-willed person overnight. It might begin with simply making your bed each morning, or deciding that from now on you'll pause and take a breath when you're angry instead of snapping. These may sound like trivial things, but each is a training exercise for your willpower. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, no matter how small, you build trust in your ability to do it again. It's like strengthening a muscle. Every repetition counts. Over time, what used to feel like a Herculean effort, like exercising for 20 minutes or focusing on work without checking your phone, becomes easier. Not because the task changed, but because you did. You grew stronger. Here's another secret. Discipline in one area of your life can strengthen discipline in others. When you prove to yourself that you can stick to daily exercise, for example, you may find it easier to be disciplined in saving money or keeping your space tidy. Success. In exercising self-control builds your mental fortitude, and that carries over. Each victory makes the next one more likely, because you've reinforced the identity of someone who follows through. Sometimes it helps to structure your life to support your discipline. If you know your willpower is low at night, perhaps you do. The important work first thing in the morning. If you find it hard to resist junk food, you might keep it out of your house entirely so you're not fighting temptation constantly. There's no shame in arranging things to make the disciplined choice a bit easier. Even the most disciplined people use strategies. They plan, they create routines, they set up their environment for success. For instance, laying out your workout clothes before bed can make it easier to roll out and exercise in the morning. Or setting alarms for certain tasks can keep you accountable when time slips away. These little tricks are like rails that help keep your train of discipline on track. A champion athlete doesn't train only on the days they feel strong and motivated. They show up and put in the work consistently, knowing that it's the only way to reach peak performance. Likewise, embracing discipline in your life means showing up for yourself, especially on the days you'd rather not. One of the great rewards of discipline is that over time, it yields freedom. That might sound paradoxical. How can discipline, which seems like restriction, lead to freedom? But think of it this way. When you are disciplined with your finances, for example, saving and investing wisely, you eventually gain financial freedom. The freedom to retire comfortably, to handle emergencies, maybe to travel or help others. All because you weren't a slave to every spending impulse. When you are disciplined with your health habits, you gain the freedom of energy, mobility, and longevity. Your body is more free to do what you ask of it. Discipline in learning a skill gives you the freedom to express yourself through that skill at a high level. The musician who disciplined herself to practice daily now has the freedom to play beautiful music effortlessly. The disciplined individual experiences life with fewer self-imposed limitations. Remember too that discipline isn't a solitary journey. You can enlist support, share your goals with a trusted friend or mentor who can hold you accountable. Sometimes just knowing that someone will ask, "Did you do what you said you'd do?" is enough to keep your resolve strong on a tough day. Jim Rohn often spoke about the influence of those around us. If you can, surround yourself with people who value discipline and growth. Their positive pressure can elevate your own standards, just as your commitment can inspire them in return. Now, be careful of a trap. When you start becoming more disciplined, it can be easy to become too hard on yourself or others. Avoid harsh self-criticism if you slip. Remember, it's about getting back up. And avoid judging others who might not be on the same path. Everyone's journey is different. Use your discipline as a beacon, not a bat. The goal is to lift yourself up, and maybe in doing so, light the way for others. Ask yourself now, why not you developing that steadfast discipline? Why not you becoming someone who bit by bit, day by day, gains control over the direction of their life? It doesn't require special talent or luck. Just a decision that you will endure the small pains of discipline so you never have to feel the huge pain of regret. See yourself as that disciplined person, even if it's not natural for you yet. Wear that identity and grow into it. Each time you choose to do the harder thing because it's aligned with your dream, take a moment to acknowledge it. You're walking your talk. You're building the bridge to your dreams, one step at a time. By fortifying your discipline, you have created a strong foundation for success. With mindset, habits, and discipline working together, tangible results begin to appear. Often, one of the first visible signs of this inner transformation is in the area of material success or wealth. So let's talk about wealth next. Not just money for its own sake, but what it represents in terms of the value you create and the life you can build. Wealth. A reflection of your growth. Wealth is often the first outward, tangible sign of personal growth that people notice. But in Jim Rohn's philosophy, wealth is much more than a bank balance. It's a reflection of the value you create and the person you become. Remember, the journey we've been on so far has been about mindset, habits, and discipline. Those inner changes often lead to external rewards, including financial ones. Rather than seeing money as a mere number or a symbol of greed, Rohn taught to view wealth as a measure of how much you've grown and how many people you've helped. He famously said, "Become a millionaire not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it." The real riches lie in the skills, knowledge, and character you develop on the way to that goal. The money is simply a bonus, a byproduct of your personal development and contributions. Think about it. Money and success don't appear out of thin air. They come to you because you provide something valuable, your work, your ideas, your service, your product, that others find useful or enriching. In a very real sense, you earn more by becoming more. Increase your knowledge, and you can solve more complex problems, often for higher pay. For example, imagine two people in the same job. One sticks to their basic duties, while the other is always learning new skills and seeking ways to do the job better. Who do you think will get promoted or earn more over time? The second person, undoubtedly, because they have increased their value to the organization. When you become more valuable, the marketplace, whether that's your employer, clients, or customers, rewards you. Sharpen your skills, and you can create better results that people will pay for. Grow your leadership and empathy, and you'll find opportunities to collaborate and build enterprises that generate wealth for everyone involved. This is why Jim Rohn often advised, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you invest in making yourself better, your work will naturally improve, and your rewards will increase accordingly. Jim Rohn put it succinctly. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Consider someone who starts with very modest means. Maybe they're working a day job that barely pays the bills. Instead of accepting that as their lot, each evening they devote time to self-education, learning a new skill, reading about investments or business strategies, taking online courses. In a few years, they apply these new skills to get a promotion or launch a small side business. That side business, fueled by passion and continuous learning, grows and eventually becomes their main source of income. By the time a decade has passed, this individual who once struggled financially has achieved financial independence. It wasn't a windfall or luck. It was the compound effect of countless nights of learning and incremental improvements. Their fortune was built one chapter, one practice session, one calculated risk at a time. Investing in your own learning and growth is one of the best investments you can make, because it tends to pay financial dividends down the road. It's no surprise that avid readers and lifelong learners often become innovators and high achievers in their fields. They've accumulated a wealth of knowledge that often translates into monetary wealth. Now, while you strive for more, it's crucial to appreciate what you already have. Ambition and gratitude should coexist. Rohn advised, learn how to be happy with what you have, while you pursue all you want. This mindset keeps you grounded. It's okay, even wonderful, to want a nicer home for your family or to aim for a higher income that provides freedom. But if you despise your life now, thinking, I'll only be happy when I'm rich, you may find that happiness continues to elude you even after you reach your goal. True wealth includes loving the life you have in the present, even as you build an even better future. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, while ambition drives you to see what's possible. When you blend the two, you live in a state of contentment and drive at the same time. You can enjoy the journey as much as the destination. But if you despise your life now, thinking you'll only be happy once you have more, you might never feel satisfied. The key is to enjoy the present while building the future. When you are grateful for what you have, you're not complacent. You're simply at peace, even as you strive. It's a wonderful balance, being happy now and excited for what's next. Wealth, in the financial sense, comes from adhering to sound principles that our earlier steps have prepared you for. By practicing discipline, you've learned to delay gratification, a critical skill in money management. You know how to save a portion of your income instead of spending it all, because you can see the bigger picture of what those savings could become: investment, security, opportunity. By cultivating good habits, you may have developed the habit of budgeting, investing regularly, or continuously finding ways to increase your value at work or in business. Your growth mindset pushes you to think creatively about income, perhaps inspiring you to start a side venture, learn about the stock market, or seek a promotion. In short, the personal growth you've undergone naturally channels into wise wealth-building behaviors. Let's address a common emotional struggle around wealth: the fear or doubt of not deserving it. Many people have an unconscious belief that wealth is for other people, or they feel guilt when they start earning more than those around them. If you feel this way, gently examine that belief. Earning money by providing genuine value is nothing to feel guilty about. In fact, it's something to feel grateful for. It means you've impacted others positively and are being compensated for it. Wealth earned honestly is a sign that you've helped someone, solved a problem, or met a need in the world. Why not you be one of those people who does that? Why not you rising to a level of success where you can not only live comfortably, but also have the means to support others and contribute to causes you care about? There is nothing inherently virtuous about remaining in scarcity. If you become wealthy with integrity and generosity, you amplify your ability to do good. Of course, wealth isn't just an end in itself. It's also a tool and a responsibility. It gives you options to secure your family's future, to explore the world, to buy time for creative pursuits, or to uplift others. Jim Rohn and many other mentors emphasize giving back. Part of truly enjoying wealth is using it to improve. Lives beyond your own. Maybe that means being able to help a relative through a tough time, or donating to a charity that resonates with you, or even just treating friends to a special experience. Rohn often spoke about lifestyle, that the real value of wealth is in the lifestyle it allows. A rich life might mean more time with loved ones, the freedom to pursue passions, or the joy of making memories through travel or hobbies. Think about what lifestyle you want your wealth to enable. When wealth has a purpose tied to your values, it becomes far more meaningful than a number on a bank statement. As you accumulate wealth, keep an eye on your relationship with it. Money can magnify character. If you have a generous, humble heart, having more money will likely allow you to express even greater generosity and humility. If someone is cruel or selfish, more money might make them more so. You've been doing the inner work, building mindset, habits, discipline, which shapes you into the kind of person who can handle wealth responsibly. Trust that process. You may find that as you gain wealth, you're surprisingly the same you, just with more resources. That's a good thing, especially if you like the person you are becoming. Finally, don't shy away from setting financial goals. Sometimes people say they only want just enough because they feel it's greedy to want more. But consider this: having more than enough means you can bless others too. If you have surplus, you can create jobs, invest in innovations, or support your community. There is nothing wrong with aiming high, as long as you remember why you're doing it. Aim to earn a fortune if that inspires you, not for stacks of cash to hoard, but so that you can live life to its fullest and share that fortune in ways that make the world a bit better. As you aim for wealth, never lose sight of the truth, that wealth itself doesn't define you. It's your heart and actions that do. Why not you achieving not only a comfortable living, but true financial abundance? Why not you building a fortune hand in hand with building a life of meaning? Picture yourself financially secure, even prosperous, and notice what that image looks like. Perhaps you see security for your loved ones, opportunities unlocked, and the capacity to contribute generously. That vision is not about greed. It's about growth and fulfillment. You've come this far. You've changed your mindset, your routines, and your discipline. These changes will naturally attract opportunities for wealth. Embrace them. You have permission to succeed and to enjoy the rewards of your hard work. As we conclude our discussion on wealth, remember that financial success is a step, not the final destination. The journey doesn't end with what you gain for yourself. There is another level of fulfillment that comes from using your achievements to impact others. That brings us to the final theme of our journey: influence, the mark you leave on other lives, and the legacy that grows from your growth. Influence, the ripple effect of your success. By this point in your journey, you've transformed so much within yourself and likely reaped personal rewards. But the story doesn't end with you. In fact, one of the most beautiful parts of personal growth is how it spreads to others. Your success, your attitude, your wisdom become a light that naturally shines outward. This is your influence, the ripple effect of your success on the lives around you. Jim Rohn and those he mentored often spoke of this phenomenon. Rohn himself influenced millions, directly and indirectly, through the people he taught, including well-known figures like Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Brian Tracy, and others, who then went on to inspire even more people. But influence isn't reserved for famous speakers or authors. It's something you create every day in your own circle. Every positive change you make in yourself extends an invitation for others to change too. Think about how you feel when you encounter someone who exudes genuine positivity, integrity, and purpose. It uplifts you, doesn't it? When you see a friend lose weight and become healthier through sheer commitment, doesn't it make you consider your own habits? Or when a colleague masters a skill through perseverance, you suddenly believe you could learn something new as well. We take cues from each other. In this way, your personal victory is never just yours alone. It can become an example, a proof of possibility for everyone watching. As you grow, people around you will notice. Some will ask, "What have you been doing? You seem different." They might see you handling stress better, or achieving goals that you used to only talk about. Your life starts to send a message, even without you speaking a word. Change is possible. Growth is real. You become a living challenge to others. In the best way, challenging them to dream bigger for themselves, just as Jim Rohn once challenged you. Influence often begins quietly, at home. Perhaps you have children, younger siblings, or nieces and nephews. They observe more than you realize. By pursuing your goals with passion and treating others kindly, you set a standard for them. You show them what it looks like to work hard, to read books instead of watching TV all day, to speak respectfully about others, to save money for something important, or to keep promises. These lessons sink in deeply. Many a time, children of disciplined, caring parents carry those values forward because that's what was modeled for them. Or consider your friends. Maybe you're the first in your group who decided to break out of a limiting pattern, like going back to school in midlife, or starting a business, or simply adopting a healthier lifestyle. Remember, Jim Rohn would often remind us that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Elevate yourself and you inevitably elevate the collective average of your circle. Your friends might initially be surprised or even skeptical, but as they see your progress, one by one they might start to believe, if she can do it, maybe I can too. Your courage gives them courage. Beyond family and friends, your influence can extend to your community or even a broader audience, should you choose. You might mentor someone at work who's just starting out, passing along not just technical skills, but also the mindset of excellence you've developed. You might volunteer or get involved in a cause, bringing your positive energy and leadership to it.
You could write about your experiences, share your story on social media or a blog, and end up inspiring someone you've never met who stumbles across your words. We live in an interconnected world. One honest story of personal triumph can travel
far and wide, motivating strangers in ways you'll never fully know. Don't underestimate the power of simply living your values openly. In a world full of negative news and cynicism, seeing someone live with purpose and kindness is like a breath of fresh air. It influences others more than we think. Jim Rohn believed that life is best lived in service to others. At first, that service might sound like grand charitable acts, but often it starts smaller than that. Service can mean actively listening when someone needs an ear, sharing a piece of advice or a book that helped you, or encouraging a colleague who's having a rough time. As you fill your own cup through personal growth, you'll find you have more to pour out for others. You've built wealth? Now you can give or invest in others' dreams. You've built knowledge? Now you can teach. You've built character? Now you can model integrity and empathy, perhaps swaying someone away from a poor decision just by your example of honesty. Influence at its heart is about contribution. It asks, how does my presence make the world around me better? And the wonderful thing is, by doing all the inner work, you've already been preparing to make a meaningful contribution. People trust and listen to those who walk their talk. One thing to remember is that influencing others comes with responsibility. People may look up to you, even emulate you, so strive to lead with humility. You're still human. You'll have off days and make mistakes. When you do, owning up to them and showing how you learn from them can be as influential as your successes. It teaches others that they don't have to be perfect to progress. In fact, sometimes sharing your struggles and how you overcame them creates a powerful connection. Don't be afraid to be transparent about the effort it took to get where you are. Your authenticity can inspire more than a flawless image ever could. As your influence grows, keep your ego in check by remembering that all these achievements and growth were gifts to you as much as they were goals you earned. You had mentors, authors, friends, people who influenced you through their words and actions, perhaps including Jim Rohn himself. In a way, you are the product of someone else's influence, and now you get to pay it forward. Think for a moment about who has influenced you. Perhaps a teacher who took the time to encourage your talent, or a family member who showed you unconditional support. Their impact lives in you to this day. Maybe you had a mentor at work who believed in you when you were just starting out. Their guidance altered the course of your career. Each of those people extended their legacy into your life. Now you get to pass that on. It's a beautiful cycle. We lift ourselves up, and then we extend a hand to lift others. When you do that, you experience a profound sense of fulfillment that no amount of personal gain can match. It confirms the idea that success without significance, without making a difference, can feel hollow. But when you use your success to elevate others, it multiplies joy for everyone. So ask yourself, in this final stretch, why not you becoming a mentor, a leader, the one who sparks positive change in your community? Why not you being the person who proves by example that adversity can be overcome, that kindness wins, that dreams are worth chasing? You don't need a title or permission to be an influencer in this sense. You just need to live your truth and share it freely. Whether your influence touches one life or 1 million, it matters. Even a single life changed because of you is a success beyond measure. You've probably heard the saying that a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. In fact, by lighting others, your own light only shines brighter and farther. Remember, at the end of your days, it likely won't be the money or awards you recall with the most pride. It will be the people whose lives you touched. Your legacy is built in those hearts and minds, in the encouragement or wisdom you gave them. That's a treasure no amount of wealth can buy. As we come to the end of this journey, reflect on how far you've come from that quiet moment when you first pondered the question, why not you? You've traveled through your mindset, your daily habits, your discipline, your pursuit of wealth, and finally your influence on others. It's a profound transformation, one that doesn't happen all at once, but gradually, choice by choice. And it's a journey that never truly ends, because there are always new levels of growth and new lives to touch. Now it's time to carry this challenge forward in your own life. Let "Why not you" echo in your mind whenever doubt creeps in. Let it remind you that you are just as capable of greatness as anyone. The calm, late-night voice that posed that question to you is now a voice that lives inside you. Whenever you face a new trial or opportunity, you can close your eyes, take a breath, and in that steady, reassuring tone, ask yourself, "Why not me?" Picture the first light of morning peeking over the horizon, signaling the start of a new day. That new day belongs to you. You don't need to wait for some special occasion or perfect moment to begin. Now, this very moment, is the best time to start turning your hopes into action. As Jim Rohn would remind his audience, today is a great day to begin the process of personal development and change. There's no need to defer your dreams to someday when you can make progress on them right now, however small. Before we try this. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. If you could meet that future you, what would you like to hear them say? Perhaps, "Thank you for starting back then. Thank you for believing in us and taking those steps." Every action you take now is a gift to that future self. You are setting things in motion that your future self will either celebrate or regret. Make it a celebration. The question remains, whispering with the sunrise, why not you? There is no reason why not. Go ahead. Take that next step, however small, with courage. Embrace the challenge Jim Rohn gave us and turn it into your reality. Make your life the answer to that daring question. Step forward and proudly say, "It is going to be me. Why not you indeed? Why not you?"